Hello, fine people of YouTube. Thank you for coming. This is our Pexy, and today we are going to find some new good lore because we're on our way to get the final good ending, best ending for the game. The lore is going to really tie the story up together. We're going to meet a few new characters that we haven't met so far in the game. And we have one more boss yet, an optional boss, and we have also the final form of the boss. As you guys know, last time I was able to beat that boss, Gilroy, with only one death. Again, this is a blind playthrough. It's the first time. My goal was to do it the first time, not know anything about it, and get 0 deaths. That was that proved to be too ambitious, but I did actually finish the game with only 8 deaths total in the whole thing, and a handful of them were kind of stupid deaths that I shouldn't have had anyway. But this Gilroy, the final one, is a little bit harder than the Gilroy that I faced for the worst ending. So we're going to see, I have fought Gilroy before though. So we're going to see how this new guy, how the little bit harder version of him holds up. Can I really beat him with 0 deaths? Can I take him the first time? We'll see. It may be not. I'm not going to say either way, but it is actually, I can give you one hint, is that during one of the fights, I have an extremely close call with him, and you'll find out if that was the final one or if it was one that I really didn't enjoy losing. So in this video, we have a few different, kind of difficult points to get past. These behemoth-looking guys, they are actually quite difficult in the game. I don't like fighting them at all, really. On New Game Plus, they're difficult. In this one, I won't exactly say they're difficult. We also have, yes, this boss right here. Let's listen. As you can see, a good strategy here is to just play him on both sides and dodge around through him on his left side, his right side. That worked pretty well. The other reason that's good is because it keeps you close to him for when he does that big charge shot. And of course, it's better to get to the other side. So it's almost the exact same attack as the Spear Knight, I forget his name, as he did in Ender Lilies. But here it's a little bit easier. All right, so we have some, verbal and camera signposting there by the devs. The barrier is broken. We can go into this new area. There's a pretty good section for XP farming in this area. Again, I wouldn't do it until the New Game Plus because you can upgrade your relics at that time, and that's very good. This is because all the relics that you can use for collection are upgraded, and so they're much more efficient to use. So yeah, you don't really want to farm unless you have to until New Game Plus. Now the note that we just got, it was a note from Juran, and he was talking about, you know, Lady Abelia and her involvement with Declan on making this thing called the Pillar of Purification. That is not the Imperial Parasol. Okay, it is a different thing that we're gonna discover here in our playthrough for the good ending. And so we noticed that, you know, she's the leader of the Frosts at that time, and she's also an ancient. And she was using this soul transfer to keep herself alive a long time. And we know that Juran is uncovering her true nature. And we also know that he has an issue with her because he was in the Lorna's memory of when the soul transfer ritual was halted and Magnolia here attacked, blinded Lorna, and killed Abelia. This is ultimately why Joran confronts her during that ritual and interrupts it and stops everything. As you can see there, that was a good XP increase. So those things are very good to farm. They do respawn. I believe the last one that you encountered, that is the best one to do it on. It's very close to the save spot. Okay, so a decent lore dump right there. And this is why, so yeah, Joran interrupts the ritual, and this is why we think maybe Abelia may have transferred into Joran, but we don't know that like 100% sure. Up ahead here on the right in the next room is what I believe is like the hardest platforming part of the game. It's quite a difficult jump to get to the end of that cavern up there. But I do it here, and I'll show you how I did it. Again, the leg enhancement gear is really, really good to use for that. It looks like I don't go there right now, but I will. In the meantime, I'll talk really quickly about this lore dump. So, as you can see, Lorna, well, she's the oldest homunculus for House Frost, so she kind of should know the details of what was like going on. One thing she mentions that the House Frost, it was blue and white. They wanted to go to the land of origin, and that is because that was Abelia's choice. So she wants to go to where the ancients were. She said that the ancients were born and they lived with magic and they were put to rest in it. So essentially they are from the land of origin. And she also said that the blight was the will of the ancients, which there is a note that talks about the ancients cursing the people they lost to, because remember they had to fight a war with the king, and so that war is they lost and then they cursed, and so that's where we believe maybe the blight comes from. But don't remember, they also used the blight as a weapon as well. So this is part of them, that there's like a prophecy that they're going to come back and they're going to get their revenge and all that kind of thing. Now, Lorna also said that Lilac is particularly resilient to the blight, even among those who come from the priestesses. So that means she is related to the priestess. She is similar to Lily from the first game. Okay, so that was Joran's notes too, another big lore dump. So they're just really throwing it on us here. He talks about, so he was the one who canceled the ritual, and he said he feels sorry about it because Lady Abelia took him in when he was younger, but he ended up kind of betraying her in a sense because he wanted to save Lilia. So he essentially is kind of responsible for what happened. They talk about the Grim Reaper of Milius. So that actually is Magnolia because she was actually made by Milius in the first place. And she was supposed to kind of like undermine House Frost or at least work with the Declan and Abelia. But she ends up changing her allegiance because she sees how they are treating the homunculi and their other, sort of humanity crimes or whatever you would call them. And so that's when she blinds Lorna and she attacks Abelia and kills Abelia. Now, presumably, almost certainly Joran wrote this note after the incident. So if Abelia did go into him, she's only part of him sometimes, which some people believe, and she's in control only sometimes, or it didn't happen at all, because he wouldn't write that if she was in full control of him. So, but he does have the damage to his eye, and it's like a blight thing, and so it's kind of like an issue. So now that I've explained the lore dump, I'm just going to keep quiet for a little bit now, and you guys can watch the rest of it here. I'll just give some tactics, tips, if I can think of anything. All right, so he just basically confirmed everything I just explained. And yes, he does say directly that Abelia is inside of him, but she is not in control. That much we can see. And he says that Reibolg had a part to play in it. I'm actually not sure what that is exactly, but I'm not sure if it matters at all. In any case, he wants him to save him. And so we're going to meet him for a second time. Okay, Primordial Heirloom found. It improves stats, but there's no extra bonuses. I don't believe that I use this at all, but I do recommend checking it against your stats, which I thought I was going to do that right here, but I guess I don't. But I recommend, yeah, checking it against your stats and seeing if you think it's worth it or not. This guy here, yeah, he's the guy you can farm him for XP pretty quickly. You go back to the rest stop below there and just repeat. All right, so here I'm gonna go for the cavern. I'm gonna try to get to the end of it here. I stick myself to the wall here and I use Lars. This is the way that I decided to do it. Try to get as low as possible, shoot over. But yeah, something happened I didn't think was gonna happen, and I made contact with that second spike. I'm gonna try to get to the third spike now, try to get a little bit lower and see if I can get across that way. If not, then I'll have to jump up and try to stick myself to the backside of that second spike or the backside of the third one, which the leg enhancement gear is really gonna help for that, so. Now, looking at that last one, I think that was the lowest that I can get to shoot across over. So there's almost like the hitbox is just a little bit too long to be able to do it on that spike. So we're really gonna try to get to the end of the very last edge here. But I think I have to stop at that spike either way. Yeah, as you can see, it does cut me off there. Now, the backside of the spikes, they're not completely straight, so I don't know if you can stick on them or not, but this is how I did it. I was able to make it far enough that I can stick to that edge there. So from here, I'm just gonna go and clean up this last area right here with these strange spikes and stuff. okay. It looked like something was up there, but nope. So I checked the whole area pretty thoroughly there. I wonder what could be the thing here that does not allow us to like get this room cleared up. So I searched this section for about 2 more minutes yet. You can fast forward a little bit if you'd like, but you'll just see like how I searched the room here just to really make sure. So yeah, about 2 more minutes and I figure it out. And so here I finally see it up. There's no like mist effect on that particular alley. So I jumped down there and yeah, I figured that out somehow, but that's a tricky one. But yeah, if you check everywhere on the top, it just has to be somewhere on the bottom. So what do we get? A low chance of instantly eliminating enemies. This could be good on like a speed run or something like that, but I will tell you, I never used it. So I can't tell you like what the rate is about how quickly it's going to do that. But in any case, I enjoy fighting the smaller enemies, and I didn't really need it at all. They're easy for me, so. All right, Reibolg, fight 2. So we can see this battle is just like a formality. He's on his last legs. Maybe he did attack Juran. So he's really suffering from the blight now, I think. And she attunes him. So we get the Blighted Pupil. Okay, so it looks like Juran is actually dead. So it seems like Reibolg or Reibolg had to kill him or had to hurt him because he was like turning into Abelia. This section here is just saying that Reibolg, he's a primary attack as well, so he can substitute for Nola essentially. But for me, I found him like too slow a little bit. I experiment with him, and I just felt like it was a little bit too slow. It's a different type of gameplay. It might be fun a little bit, but for me, I didn't like it as much as Nola. But some of his attacks are cool, like the Attuner art is pretty cool too. I'm checking out the other Attuner arts here. Again, like Yolvan is like just the best one in my opinion. Lorna's is good in a different way because she can actually like heal you and you can use it many, many times. So that's a really good one. Like if you're having too much like defensive trouble with a boss or an area, you can bring her and you can do things that raise your SP really quickly. Okay, now we're just going to go to the Land of Origin just to wrap a few things up here. And one of the most difficult exploration areas is up ahead here. And in this video, you'll see how to get through it correctly. Okay, we're gonna jump into the blighted water here, and yeah, this is one of the most hardest exploration areas in the game. You'll see that I actually mess up here because I try to go for too much. I try to make it too efficient, and yeah, by a split second, I didn't heal myself fast enough. I don't know if that actually should count as death number 9 or not. You can guys let me know what you think, but I'm gonna add it in this playthrough as like a death number 9, just so you know. I'm not gonna be like cheap about it, but like, yeah, in my opinion, actually, like those deaths don't really count, because it's not necessarily about your skill. It's just like about how much you're willing to push it. So I just went for a little bit too much there and I got killed, but I'm gonna add it as death number 9. So that's kind of interesting, you know, because the Shackled Beast and Reibolg were in the defense of the steeple together. If you remember, that's where we find him, and it's written that Reibolg was there. So it's interesting that that's how they're thinking of each other. As you can see there, I put the primordial heirloom on instead of having the block ability. And yeah, you wanna, when you go into this area, you wanna optimize things like your HP and your heal potency as much as possible. And of course you want the extra 2 healing ward recoveries. I'm just checking to see if there's anything better than having those 2 recoveries, and there's not. You wanna be able to heal yourself as many times as possible for as much as possible, and you want your HP to be really, really high for this section. So you want to optimize your stats for this exploration. And as you can see, just searching through the relics here to optimize myself for, you know, maybe damage reduction will help with that. And also, you know, any other type of things that are connected to, you know, maybe healing or HP or damage or defense. So yeah, I'm optimizing for those things right now. And then I think we're gonna go back in at this point and loop around and try to get the treasure that's in that section. We'll see. I might go somewhere else first. Yeah, I do. I guess I want to check out to see here if one of these relics, if this woman has any idea about what to do with it. So yeah, nothing to offer there. So I'll go back to the hub here. Or maybe I won't. I forget what I did. Yeah, I'll go here. So there we go, little small scene there, but you know, nothing special to go to. And nothing to do here just yet either. Still looking around here. Maybe this guy knows something. Nothing too special. And this guy, nope. Nothing. Just check him anyway, because he did help with one of the items before. And same thing with the smith here, but nothing. Now I think we'll go back maybe. You know, is there anything else left undone in any of these maps? And I don't see anything, so pretty much we're just down here for the rest of it. Might check with the professor here one last time. And yeah, nothing special there, so we'll look elsewhere. So about the only thing left to do is go into that question mark area there. So I think that's where I go now. And then maybe later I'll work on that difficult part. Yeah, I guess I'm doing this just to make sure, because maybe they expect me to have done something else before I go to that section. In that case, maybe I would get an item that makes it a little bit easier to go through. So since I'm trying to minimize my deaths, I won't try that section until I check everything else out here. These guys here are always a little bit of a pain. I would not want to fight them without the gun. And this section is pretty easy by comparison to get through. And here we have one more special scene now that we have the blighted pupil. Okay, so we see that she dispelled the barrier so we can go inside. I'm not sure why she's tired exactly. Why that's written into the script, but I guess so she's not in this scene. There's a reason for her not to be in the scene for some reason, but then she appears. All right, so this room is complete. There's nothing else we can do here. Just for, I don't know the reason why, I go ahead and I check up here anyway, just in case there's something extra that we can find. And there's nothing. So we have to go back up and we have to actually meet with Lily, who is supposed to be Lily, in this section up here. I'm not sure the reason for the runaround exactly. I guess they make it longer on purpose or something, I'm not sure, but we meet her up here, and then she's gonna give us an item. So she said she was able to use the Aegis Curio herself, which almost certainly confirms that she is Lily from the first game. There's a time gap between those games, so I guess she's able to live longer for some reason. But yeah, much similar to the first game, in the first game you have to get a few different things, and then you can eventually get the Curio and beat the game with it, I believe, and you get the special ending. So this section here, yeah, the name of the game here is just to, do this as efficiently as possible. The danger is if you let your health get too low, then you won't have time to recover. But as you can see here, like the recover amount is pretty good. But the more times you have to stop, then the more you have to, like it takes longer to get moving fast again. So you kind of want to, that's why you want your heal amount to be really high. So as you can see, even with everything that I've done here, it gets pretty quick here. It gets pretty down to the wire here. And I don't know how I survived that, because I needed to jump out of there, but I didn't do it. And instead I tried to heal myself, and I got the flower that they placed there in just like the lucky position by chance. So yeah, I got pretty lucky there, and I got saved from another stupid death. And we get the ancient bracelet there, which it just lowers your other stats in favor of like high attack. So this is like more of an end game item. It's a 50 plus 50 attack. So about my 210 to 260, it's about almost like a 25% increase on attack. So that's pretty good, actually. So you want to run the numbers and see how much of a boost it gives you by equipping it. But in this case, I'm a little more focused on defense, so I don't equip it this time. But it would be good for things like, end game and, boss rushes and things like that. So I think now we're just gonna clean up all the extra areas of the game. We'll visit Lilia one more time, and we're gonna get a big, a nice lore dump there with her. I think I'll put my shield back on here. I'm just debating if the increases are worth having the primordial heirloom on or not. But I still think like blocking is better. And here we'll just, re-optimize for like a more of an exploration build. And I'll go through a few sections here to get back to her, because there's no warp. So you have to go through the section again, which, because you had to go out and meet Lily and get something and come back, you have to go through that section again, so twice, kind of for no reason. So, but yeah, this is why these butterflies are annoying, because they like teleport to right where you are, and they'll force you off the platform. The other thing to note is this section is still gray, and yeah, I didn't notice this, I think, this hole that I could go down into. So we'll do this. And this is a fairly tricky platforming section as well. You have to, this needs to be broken by the water version. So if you can, you could do a double jump across that where you broke it, like in one go. So I would recommend doing that way. I go straight through here. So that's pretty good like sense to go through there and just jump right over it like a hurdle. And then we're gonna get the last piece here, which, you know, it's difficult to go downward. Maybe if you start at the top, you might have enough time, but I'm not sure. In any case, that's how I did it. You can do it that way too. And I almost fall here like a dummy. There we go. We get the charmed ore, 20% extra HP, so it's very good. And then we get the nothing to fear trophy because of that, which I think it means we got all of the items or all of the ores, maybe one of those things. And then unbelievably, this section right here is still gray. Like, oh my gosh, like what more are they packing into this area? So there's only one more possibility then, and that's something up top, you know, probably in the corners up here. So I checked them. And there we go. So we found another area here. And a little bit surprising, but we have a mini boss inside of it. These mini bosses are pretty easy, but sometimes they can hit hard depending on your stats. And it is a attack that is honed in on your position. So you have to make sure you're in motion when it attacks you. So if you go for DPSing too much, you'll get hit a lot. And we get the unidentified amplifier, which will allow us to upgrade Nola's ability, I believe. Just checking around the map here, and I think that's about it. I think we're 100% clear on the map now. Of course, except for the final boss. And this will be our second time fighting Gilroy. And we're going to do it with the special item, which Lilia is going to give us here. Yep, so we can enhance the sickle this way, which is the most balanced weapon in the game. I'm comparing here like the damage, the break damage, and the power to all three of them. And I don't know, I keep the hammer. So for like speed runs, I think like the piercer is the best one. The sword, I think it has the highest DPS, which makes sense because it doesn't have the best like range. It doesn't hit above anything, but these two weapons do. And so when I do New Game Plus, I actually go through it with the sickle. But I finished the game this time with the hammer. And I actually like the hammer better from just like a visual standpoint. And like how it makes the camera shake is like really cool too. but I think it might be the worst for DPS. I'm not sure. I'm not a person who usually like goes and calculates the numbers and everything. I just want to like play the game and enjoy, if you know what I mean. And so here I give the game like a little bit of a pause because maybe I had to go do something or something like that. So that's going to wrap up this particular video. And then we will go on with the next video, which is going to be the last in this amazing series here. It's going to be the final boss of the game and the final section of lore. So don't miss it. There's a lot of good things at the end. And I will tell you, I may or may not beat the final boss, the ultimate form of Gilroy, on the first try. I may or may not do that. But in any case, I will tell you, it is a nail biter. It is down to the last hit, literally. So it's going to be a good one. Thanks for your time. I hope the lore we had a good explanation of the lore here. Please continue watching. If you came this far, thank you so much. And I will just give you a really quick lore dump here, which is basically a while back when we had Ender Lilies. It's a different kingdom in the same universe, and there was the Blight happened. The Blight was created by the Ancients. The Ancients were, of course, an ancient race who originally had a war when the people of these kingdoms, so Ender Magnolia's and the Ender Lilies kingdom, when they came, they originally had like a war with those people. They lost, then they cursed the people, and the curse is also connected to the Blight, which originally they used as a weapon. They lived for a long time. They had like kind of immortality because they were doing soul transfers and things like that, which is what Abelia, she is a surviving ancient, and she was doing in this game. Now, after that whole situation was finished, the priest, there was the white priestesses, and they were created by the ancients, and they were purifying the Blight and things like that. And now in this one, Ender Magnolia, it is a few hundred years later, and we have Lilac, who is kind of related to the white priestesses, I guess, genetically, and they still have the Reign of Blight. They made a giant umbrella to protect against that, and that is what the parasol is, and we're gonna possibly destroy that in the next round. So thank you very much for your time. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.